Good morning, everyone. Give me just a minute and I will get this up on my computer and we'll get started. Okay, there it is. There it is. All right. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Hi, Jamie. It's nice to see you on there. I've been meaning to reach out to you. Hadn't seen you. I hope you haven't been sick. Hey, Arla, nice to speak with you and see you here too. So we're in the process of trying to book flights to go to Vancouver for our family Alaskan cruise in August, and everybody's been texting back and forth, and who knows what kind of texts I might show up getting here during the time that we're talking. So I'm running a little late, and for that I apologize. Okay, I'm Lola Rist with LolaRist.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and we're going to get started here. Give me a second to turn this. Morning. All right. So we are going to do a new form today, a new texture for me. It's called the Retiform technique. And I was going to look up what Retiform meant, and I forgot to do that. So, you know, nothing like being not, I got to find out. We got to find it. So give me a second. Retiform. Definition of retiform. It means having the form or resembling a net. Okay, so if you look at this, it's like little sections of the card, and they're actually taped off or masked off to get the effect. So, okay, that's it. Having the effect of a net. So this is called Retiform. And this week and probably next week, I'm going to spend some time using the annual catalog. You know, we are just like kids at Christmas. When we get new toys, we kind of forget what all we have, and all we want to do is play with the new toys all the time. Well, we have some great toys in the annual catalog that we've been seeing and working with, or maybe you have a stamp set that you haven't used. This is the perfect time to start using those. So, hey Linda, nice to have you with us. So we're gonna practice with this Retiform, and actually Retiform is very easy to do. The technique. It needs Post-its. So I have 2 or 3 different sizes. Yesterday I made this card with this one. So, you know, you don't have to have all these sizes. It also requires a blending brush, and it requires patience. And let me tell you, I can handle masking with Post-its. I can handle blending brushes. It's the patience that's going to drive me nuts, but I will try my darndest. So I went on ahead and I pulled a stamp set that I had not used before, and here it is. This is from the annual catalog. It's called Beauty of the Deep. To do Retiform, you want multiple images, things that you can use, multiple images in different sizes. So this one I thought was a perfect one. I'm going to do it again tomorrow to get ready for technique class, and I'm going to use, I think, the Gone Fishing. I think there's several ones in there that I can use that will be perfect for the Retiform technique. And then I needed a greeting, and I am struggling finding a happy birthday that I think is really masculine, doesn't have a feminine script to it or something. And so I went with a stamp set that you might not have seen. This is in the online exclusives, and I just picked out the one that says New Day, New Adventure. And then I'm going to go on ahead and leave it blank, and I can write on the inside of it. So this is my script or my greeting that I will use. New day, new adventure. I'm going to use Beauty of the Deep. And I'm going to start with a piece of Azure Afternoon and a blueberry mask. And I think that one is too big. I'm going to have to cut it down a little bit. And then I'm going to come with a piece of basic white cardstock. And this is where I'm going to do the technique. Hey, Rowena, nice to have you with us too. So we're sitting here working today. I have Stamp and Sip tonight. And we are going to do bingo. And I'm making a punch called Green Goose Punch. So, you know, we're doing St. Pat's. So, all right. So I'm going to start with my acrylic mat because I want this to stay in one place. I don't want it to move around. So I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to put down just a little bit of adhesive, and I have it here. I hope everybody had a good weekend. We had a good one. We had the girls here. And Megan, Adam stayed home and had a class he was working on, line, so he stayed home and did his work. And then Evan came over for lunch and supper with Calvin and Rachel's niece from Columbia was up. So we just had a house full. Great was here, Jim's mom. And he's taking Mom home now, so he'll be back here in a little bit. So I went on ahead and I put a little adhesive on the back, but I kind of tried to get some of the stickiness off of it by just touching it, you know, the oil on your fingers. Hey, Chris, nice to have you with us. But hopefully it'll stay in one place, but it should just come off because of the acrylic mat. So I'm going to start with this. And the hardest part of this, I told you, is going to be the blending brush because I have to be patient about it. I was so afraid I would screw it up that I went on ahead and got a couple more pieces just on the off chance. Okay? So I'm going to start with my blending brush and I'm going to tap it because I really don't want a lot of ink on it. And I'm going to start with a bigger piece of paper. And I'm not going to use a masking, a piece of mask or Post-it. I'm just going to start with a bigger piece of paper and hold it. As long as I'm holding it in place, it'll be fine. And I'm just going to start turning my brush and layering in some color here. It's just a shadow. My problem is that I get in a hurry and then I get spotches. So I'm really trying to behave myself. That was better. If I start off the paper, I do better. All right? So we're going like that. And then we're going to go on ahead, and there is no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just crisscrossing my shadow lines. For those of you that are late getting here, this is called the Retiform technique. And it's a monochromatic technique. I'm not going to go up higher with that. I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm just going to crisscross. Now, every time I crisscross someplace, I'm going to have to put an image in. So I don't want any little spots. Retiform means to take on the image of a net. I think that's what it said. So I'm just going to kind of weave this net that has no rhyme or reason to it in terms of shape. It's not a conformed set of images, okay? Just kind of coming across here. How small is that? That's okay. I can do that one. It does not have to be a monochromatic card. I'm going to make it one because you know I like monochromatic cards. I'm boring. I like one color. And see, I was getting going here too fast, but I'll get it covered. All right, and then I'm going to draw one this way. So look at your stamp sets and see what things you have that have lots of little images. All right. Do one more here, and I'm going to stop with that and start working on it. All right, just simply crisscrossing. That one is there, but it's sure not very dark. So I'm going to darken this one down here just a hair, this little line right there. Better. Okay. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to do the same thing all the way around it. So I'm just going to kind of lay that shading in all the way around it. The first stamp that really came to my mind was the detailed dogwood, but since celebration ended, I thought, well, I better not use that. So, but I do think the fishing one, Gone Fishing, will work too. And I'm gonna just lay in a little color there to tone that white spot down. Okay, so there's what we got so far. Okay, I'm gonna go on ahead and close this up. And now we're gonna use Post-it notes. And you can use whatever sizes of Post-it notes you want or have. I'm gonna use them over and over. So I'm not gonna just keep getting new ones. I'm gonna take them and do a couple of them at a time. In fact, if I move this up, I can mask both of those. What I want to do is I want to mask that section, okay? So I'm going to go on ahead. Let's do this one and put it right along that line. It's sticking on me before I can get it to where I want it to be. You want to overlap. You want to make sure there's no spot there from another section that is visible. Okay? All right. Taking my ink. And these are images from Beauty of the Beast. Beauty of the Beast. Beauty of the Deep. Sorry. All right. I'm just going to fill in and overlap. I want to make sure I get a good press where those images are meeting the masking tape. And I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to move it. Okay. So let's go to this one here. Have to move it the other way. And it just takes time. Not at all hard. It just takes a little time and some Post-its. Someone asked me once if I could use masking paper. And I don't think you want the masking paper. I think, number one, it's too expensive. I wouldn't want to use all that. Okay. I'm just going to set my anchor in here. And you're starting to see now the net pieces coming out. All right, let's come down here to this one. I'm gonna turn it. Some of these I don't even have to mask, to be really truthful. I can probably stamp some of these images on the side, some of these along here without even masking it, but you know, we'll do it, we'll mask it so that you understand the whole premise of it. I'm just gonna put some seaweed in here. All right, another one here. So I hope everybody had a good weekend. I started to say vacation. Good weekend. We did. We have sat and laughed and laughed. Fiona had another loose tooth yesterday and went home with another loose tooth, and she had another one, so that's 2 in 1 week. And then we laughed at Nora. She was conversing with Great, and she asked her this question. She said, so Great, because that's what they call great grandma. So Great, what do you do for fun even though you're close to dying? And we're like, oh my gosh. Of course, Elda she didn't care about it. She thought that was a hoot and a half. But it's just the idea. Oh my gosh, Norby. What do you do for fun even though you're close to dying? So, we'll do this. Turn it. All right. Now we're getting down to some of these smaller images along here. And this is why you want multiple images, so that you can have all sorts of stamped things in it. A fish. Let me stamp along here. What do you do for fun, even though you're close to dying? A question I ask every day. Oh, we just laughed and laughed. And Elda, gosh love her, she's so good-natured about it. She's like, yeah, you know, I'm really about that way too. Didn't bother her at all. But, you know, trying to make conversation. Bubbles that were in there. You see where this is not a hard thing to do? Anybody can do this one. It's just, like I said, it just takes a little time. So are you going to do like 25 of these? Heck no. I wouldn't. But a couple of them I think would be a fun little technique to try. This is going to be one of our techniques this week in technique class. Okay. What all do I have? I have a little leaf, little seaweed plant here. So I'm going to turn it this way. Didn't get a good image there. And I can't go back over that. So that's okay. All right. We've got one here, and I don't even need to stamp this one. I believe, yeah, I better. I wasn't going to mask it, but I better. Got a little sea anemone urchin. I know you would. That's why I specifically said I would not want to do multiples of these. But yes, I was thinking of you when I said that, because I know that you guys overdo a lot. Got a little shadow there. Keep going. Close to being done. So a blending brush, Post-it notes, which I have collected and got a lot of. And I'm going to use this one again. And this was kind of my bottom down here. I've got it turned upside down. So I'm going to kind of use this as my bottom and put in my coral. I like that piece. Okay. Gonna do one here, and we'll be done. Each one of these, no matter what you do, each one's gonna look different, because unless you just are going nuts trying to make your masking and your blending lines exactly the same, it's not going to work. You're going to get off. It's going to change a little bit. I really like this fish. And stamp another one above it. Just a section of it. Okay, we're going to this one. Two more sections after this. Can you think of another stamp set that you think would have enough little pieces that would, little stamps and images that would work for this? There's that one in the catalog that's got the garden boot snap. It's not in the catalog. It's in the online exclusives. And it's got multiple little images, the wheelbarrow, the boots, the garden watering can, things like that. That one might work. Okay. One more masking here. And that leads me to the last one. And I want to end with the anchor just like I started. So I have another anchor on here. I've had to start doubling up my images because I've gone through them all. So I'm going to go with my anchor and finish up. And there it is. So 3 Post-it notes is what I went through. What do you think? So I did that one. Yesterday I did this one. And I did this one. So they're all 3. They're all different. They all have the same images, but they're all different looking because each one of them, depending upon how you lay those lines down with the blending brush. I started, if you don't remember or if you weren't with us, I started with one that was all the way from the top to the bottom. And then I came over and added another one. Wasn't perfect. I wasn't trying to get perfect triangles or anything like that. So this one has the corner there. And then once you start that, then you start just dividing it with some movements of your paper. And before you know it, you have multiple shapes. You have to be very careful that you don't overdo it and get too many shapes in it because you get some of these little teeny tiny places and you're never going to get that to stamp in. All right. Okay, so let's finish the card and call it good. So this is the one I did. So let's go on ahead and take this one. And I'm going to run my adhesive. Where's my thing? At the end, which is what I expected. I have one ready. Okay. It goes on to the blueberry bushel. Some of my images are a little upside down or wonky. That's okay too. I want to make sure this is 5.5. It looked like when I laid this on there that it wasn't. Yeah, this is short. This is a short one. So I'm not going to go on ahead and put this all together. Maybe this one will work. Just a second. This is too short. It's 1/8 of an inch shorter. This one will work. It's not scored, but it'll work. You can take a block and rub the block over it if you don't have your bone folder. Okay. And I'm going to go on ahead, and because you know me, I have to have something on there to embellish it. I can't just go with nothing. I'm going to put a little ribbon. And this is Azure Afternoon, and it is a trio pack. It's Lemon Lolly and Bubble Bath and Azure Afternoon. Again, it's from the annual catalog. I'm trying to use it. I'm just going to put it around here, like so. I know some people cut their whole ribbon all the way around it and then tie it. And I'm like, number one, it's harder to tie a bow that way. That is always the case. It's harder to tie the bow if you go all the way around the card and then try to tie the bow. It will either be too tight and it'll be wonky, or it'll be too loose and it's just a pain. So take the cheap part like me. All right. I took a die that I have leftovers. Whenever I have a class, I always cut extras of dies just in case, because somebody's going to mess up. Me too. And so I have a sack of nothing but little die cuts. Whenever I come back from the class, I throw them all together. New day, new adventure. And I'm going to take and put my fish on this side, like so. I'm going to pop it up with some dimensionals. But anyhow, don't throw those extra things away. Collect them in something. Put them in a tin. Put them in a Ziploc bag. Put them someplace so that if you just need a quick, fast label, go pull and see what you've got that'll work. So I didn't have to do any die cutting, even though it has one piece of it on here. One die. Take these off. New day, new adventure. I'm going to take adhesive. I've got a little splotch there, so I'll take an adhesive. You know what I'm trying to say. An adhesive eraser, rubber eraser. Let's do just a little to the middle of it. So let's take our blending brush. And this is the inside, and we're just going to kind of roll the corner of it with some blending brushes. I'm going to do the same with the envelope, but this time I'm going to use the left side of the envelope. Just going to put a little blue there. And I'm going to go on ahead and lay in some stamped images. That one. And this pretty fish right there. And a sea anemone down at the bottom. How's that? Same thing. I'm going to change it up a little bit, use something different. Some coral. Some bubbles. And a fish. And guys, there's my card. So let me pull it all together here. I have my card. I have the inside. and I have my envelope, and I have it all finished up. Retiform technique, using Post-it notes, blenders, brushes, or you could use sponges, sponge daubers. Just keep it soft. And go pull something today that you haven't used yet out of your supplies. Go pull something new. Find something new to play with today. Have a great day. God bless. Bye-bye, guys.